3 steps to have the best 2020 insha'Allah. Assalamu alaikum, this is your brother Muhammad Arshad, and today I am in Jhelum, Pakistan as usual, which is kind of my hometown for a few months. And it's the 1st of January, 2020, a new decade. Even though as Muslims, we don't really celebrate New Year or we don't do any of that stuff, the date itself, it marks kind of a restart for us. So I wanted to give you 3 simple things that I think you should do to have the best year ever. Now, the advice I'm going to give you is based on a quote that I saw this week in the 5-minute journal. So the 5-minute journal is a thing I use every day. It just helps me to journal my life. It helps me to be grateful in the day. It helps me to plan the day a little bit better. It does cost a few pounds, and I'm sure there's free alternatives out there, but check it out if you haven't already. Now, the quote that I saw was from a guy called Sigmund something. So I'll try and put it in the Sigmund Fieldman or something. I'll put it in the comments for you guys anyway, so you can see it, right? But when I think about 2020, it's a big thing because it's a new decade, it's a new year, there's hope at the start of the year. The first thing I want to say is, before I get into the tips about it, is that we need to realize that our life doesn't necessarily work in full years. It doesn't work in decades, it doesn't work in 20 years. We don't know how long our life is. We don't know how long we're going to live. We don't know if we're going to be around in 2020. But what we want to do is we still want to make sure that we do things accordingly, because the Prophet ﷺ said that even if you see the day of judgment coming and you're about to plant a tree, plant that tree. So even though we don't know where life is going, we still want to take action. We still want to do the things we want to do. So what are the 3 simple steps to have the best 2020 ever, inshallah? Step 1. So what he says in this quote is, the first thing you need to do is you need to have the courage to dream what you want. Okay, so the first thing is have courage to dream what you want. Now, this is a really deep thing, because a lot of us, as human beings, we're kind of held back by our past. We're held back by the failures that we've had, the things we haven't been able to achieve. And what that does is it really limits our dreams. And so for you to have a huge dream, you have to be courageous. You have to be willing to dream something big. So the first advice I'd give you is really kind of think about what it is exactly that you want. Like, when we have this year coming up, what do you actually want from the year? Because, one of the things I've found is that most people are unhappy because they're not doing the things that they want. They don't have the things that they want, right? And so we have to get very clear. And this is what I do in coaching a lot of the times. I'm speaking to clients and I'm saying, look, deep down, what is it that you want? And most of the time, people are doing things that they don't want. And a lot of that is because they can't dream that they will have that one day. So I would say the first thing is, like, get really clear. I'm going to spend some time today to plan out the next year, inshallah. And my number 1 question is going to be, what do I actually want, right? And I want it to be a real kind of something that's deep from my heart of what I want. So I would say get very clear on what is it that you want. Now, this might be something that you have to look at in different areas of your life, right? You might be saying, right, where do I want to live? Like right now, I'm in Pakistan. I actually wanted to spend some real time out here, Alhamdulillah, and I've been able to do that. So you want to be thinking about, like, where do I want to live? What do I want to be doing this year? What do I want to, who are the people that I want to spend time with this year? What are the achievements I want to have? And all of these should be something that you should do at the highest level. As Muslims, we should be achieving for the highest level. So think about all the things you want. And it's a hard question because you're so caught up in everyday life, it can be difficult to sit down and think, look, let's just clear the decks. What do I want? And I think along with that needs to come the belief that Allah is all powerful. Allah is willing to help me. As long as I'm doing something that is halal and something that's good, Allah's going to be there by my side. So if Allah's by my side and I could dream anything that I wanted, what would it be? I mean, even while you're listening to me right now, what are the first things that come to your mind about what you want from this year? Right? So I would write all of those things down, and then I would challenge myself. I would look at those things and I would say, are these really dreams? Are these really big enough? Right? And then you have to have that courage where you're like, okay, it's not big enough and I'm gonna go bigger even though it's scary, right? It can be scary to look at something and go, oh, I'm going to try and achieve this year, this year. Because then in your head, you're like, oh, well, last year you failed at this, and last year this didn't happen, and it's January, and you're gonna flunk within a couple of weeks. So the first thing is have the courage to dream what you want. That's step one. Now, step two is about having the intelligence to make a plan for it, like a good plan. So once you've figured out what it is that you want, then it's about intelligently finding a way to achieve that. Now, one of the things we need to talk about is bright spotting. Bright spotting is when you look at what someone has achieved and how they did it. So for example, let's say I want to become someone who's like a master chef, right? Then I need to go and look at other master chefs, and I need to look at what is it that they did to achieve it, right? And the better your strategy, the better your plan, the easier it will be to execute it. So what you want to do is, once you've got that list of the things that you want to achieve, you want to then start thinking about, how can I actually get there? Because the first thing is setting the destination. The second is actually choosing a route to get there. So you want to start thinking about, who are people who have done this already? How can I do this? Who are the resources that I can call upon? What are the things that I'm going to need? How do I prepare myself? You know, all the kind of things to do with the strategy for getting there. You need to do that from an intelligent perspective, right? And then the third thing is that you actually work on the third thing. He said that after you have the courage to dream, you have the intelligence, then the third thing is having the will to execute. Having the will to execute and to see it through until it's done, right? Because a lot of people will sit down now at this time of year and be like, okay, this is what I want to do this year. They'll come up with a plan, and then where they fall is the will. It's like people who start, 1st of January. I saw one of my cousins' Snapchat pictures, right? And it had like really healthy food there, and I'm like, whoa, like you're back on the diet this year, yeah? And that's what happens at the start of the year. You're like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. You come up with a good strategy, maybe you even join the gym, but what we lack is the will to see it through till the end, right? And so what you want to do is you want to start thinking about how you're going to continue even when things go wrong, because there's going to be a time when you're trying to achieve that dream, you've got your plan in place, and things go wrong, right? And this is why I love this book called The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, which basically says that, on the journey that you're going to go to achieve what you want to achieve, there's going to be obstacle after obstacle and obstacle. But you need to know that that obstacle is not so that you basically change your path or you don't achieve it. It's actually to tell you that this is the way you should be treading. Because anything worthwhile doing, it's going to come with heartache, it's going to come with difficulty, it's going to come with all kinds of challenges before you get to where you want to get to. But the truth is that persistence overcomes resistance. As long as you have that will and you continue that will, that will keep you going. And so one of the ways you can do that is actually by writing down the reasons why you want to achieve it. Also looking at the obstacles. One of the things I do in my weekly planning is, when I'm sitting down and I've planned my whole week, then I think about this: what are the obstacles that can come in my way? So let's say I've planned my whole week out and I'm like, what's the obstacles that can happen this week? And I'm like, well, my car could break down, okay, because the car's not doing so well. Or, my daughter's not so well, so she might need a hospital visit. Or family said they might come round, so they could come round unexpectedly. So once I know those challenges, okay, what do I do about it? So for the car, I might plan in some time to actually take it to the mechanic. For my daughter, I might actually make sure that someone's around to look after her. For the family, I might call them and find out when they're coming and set a specific time, right? And so this is a simple formula, I would say, because I don't want people going to such a deep thing where they plan so much and they don't execute, right? We said the 3 steps that you need is, 1, you need to dream. You need to have the courage to dream exactly what you want, figure out what you want, right? The second thing is the intelligence to have a plan for it, like an intelligent plan to achieve exactly that. And then the third thing, which is probably the hardest, is having the will to see it through, which means that you continue to go and go and go, and you never give up. And if you never give up, then inshallah you'll definitely get there. Now within these things, there's all kinds of things, like like I said, when you do the first stage of dreaming, you want Allah to be at the forefront of your mind, because Allah is all powerful. Allah can do everything. When it comes to the intelligence to do it, you need to make sure that it's done in a halal way. You need to ensure that there's dua there's trust in Allah, there's all the kind of good things you can do. And then the third thing about the will is, because you're on that journey, you have to consistently ask Allah for help. You have to consistently going back to the reasons why you want to achieve this, why you want to do this, and kind of connect with it every single time, and take baby steps. Because you know, they say the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. This is exactly the same with anything you want to achieve this year. So I pray that Allah makes this year successful for you. I pray that Allah makes your planning easy for you as well. And you know, definitely reach out to us if you need help with the kind of planning that you're doing. If you've got ideas, share them with us, share them with other people. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. There's lots more good things coming in this year, and I look forward to seeing you then. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.